What if walking away from a relationship, the one decision you believed would finally bring you peace, didn't actually make you happy? What if the freedom you imagined, the independence you fought for, and the life you thought would feel lighter, still left an empty space in your heart? This is a story many people never talk about, because society often tells us something very simple. If a relationship makes you unhappy, just leave. But what happens after you leave? Why do some people feel relief while others feel something completely different? Confusion, loneliness, regret, or a strange kind of silence? Today, we are exploring a powerful emotional question. She left the relationship, so why isn't she happy? And the answer is far deeper than you might think. Part 1. The decision to leave. Every relationship reaches moments where things feel heavy, arguments become frequent, misunderstandings pile up, small issues slowly turn into emotional distance. Sometimes the love is still there, but the happiness isn't. For many women, leaving a relationship is not a sudden decision. It is often the result of months or even years of emotional conflict. She may have tried to fix things. She may have communicated her feelings. She may have hoped things would change. But when those efforts seem ignored, a quiet thought begins to grow. Maybe I would be happier if I just left. And eventually, the day comes. The message is sent, the conversation happens, the relationship ends. From the outside, people assume one thing: she must feel relieved. But emotions rarely follow such simple rules. Part 2. Expectation versus reality. Before leaving, many people imagine a very specific future. They imagine waking up feeling lighter. No more arguments, no more emotional stress, no more compromises, just peace. But real life after a breakup often feels very different. Instead of freedom, there may be silence. Instead of excitement, there may be uncertainty. Because relationships don't just take energy from us, they also give us things we sometimes don't realize until they're gone. Routine, comfort, shared memories, a sense of belonging. Even when a relationship isn't perfect, it can still become part of our emotional identity. So when it ends, something important disappears. And suddenly, the life that once felt familiar feels empty. Part 3. The emotional aftermath. Leaving a relationship doesn't automatically erase emotions. In fact, it often brings more emotions to the surface. She may start questioning her decision. Did I give up too early? Could things have improved? Did I expect too much? These questions can slowly create self-doubt. Another unexpected feeling is loneliness. Even if the relationship had problems, there was still someone to talk to, someone who knew your daily routine, someone who shared parts of your life. Without that connection, everyday moments can suddenly feel quieter, and sometimes that quiet becomes difficult to handle. This doesn't mean the decision to leave was wrong. It simply means healing is more complicated than people think. Part 4. Social pressure and expectations. Society often celebrates independence after a breakup. Friends may say, "You deserve better. You did the right thing. Now you can focus on yourself." These statements are meant to be supportive, but they can also create pressure. Because if everyone expects you to feel strong and happy, it becomes harder to admit when you don't. So instead of expressing sadness, many people hide it. They smile on social media, they appear confident, they act like life is perfect, but inside, they are still processing the emotional loss. And this gap between how you feel and how you're expected to feel can make healing even harder. Part 5. The memory effect. Another powerful psychological effect happens after breakups. The mind begins to selectively remember the good moments. Suddenly, the arguments fade, the painful memories become less intense, but the happy moments, they become clearer. The late-night conversations, the shared jokes, the small moments of affection. And when those memories return, they can make someone question everything. Was it really that bad? Did I make the right decision? This is one of the most common emotional challenges after leaving a relationship. The brain naturally protects us by softening painful memories, but sometimes that protection creates confusion. Part 6. Growth through pain. Even though the emotional journey can feel difficult, it often leads to something important: growth. Leaving a relationship forces people to reconnect with themselves, to rediscover their identity outside of the partnership, to understand their needs, boundaries, and emotional values. It takes time, but eventually, many people reach a point where they realize something powerful. Happiness was never meant to come from another person alone. It comes from balance, self-awareness, and emotional maturity. Sometimes, the temporary sadness after leaving a relationship is actually part of building a stronger future. So if someone leaves a relationship and still doesn't feel happy, it doesn't mean they made a mistake. It means they are human. Emotions do not disappear overnight. Healing takes time. Understanding takes reflection. And happiness often comes after the storm, not immediately after the decision. The truth is, walking away from something difficult is brave, but rebuilding yourself afterwards is even braver. And sometimes, the road to real happiness begins with a moment that feels confusing, lonely, or uncertain, because growth rarely feels comfortable. But in the end, it can lead to a life that is far more authentic. If this story made you reflect on relationships and emotions, share your thoughts in the comments. And remember, sometimes the hardest decisions are the ones that eventually lead us to the most meaningful growth.